Now, to discuss these tumultuous events over the Korean Peninsula over the last few days, joining us in the studio is Dr. Jung-yeop from the Sejong Institute. Dr. thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
It's been an extraordinary few days. I mean, the North Korea summit was on again, off again, and now it seems to be back on again. What do you make of everything that's gone on over the last 4 days or so?
Yeah, it was indeed a surprising development over a couple of days. And I think many described it like it felt like they are riding on a very fast roller coaster. And we have observed that President Trump canceled the meeting, and then it looks like it's going to back on the track. So we have to see. President Trump also mentioned that we have to see, but I think it's truly that we have to see whether it's going to happen or not on June 12th.
One of the most surprising events over the weekends, for me anyway, was President Moon's surprise visit to the border village of Panmunjom, where he met with Kim Jong-un for the second Inter-Korean summit. It was a very bold move, I feel like. But tell me, be honest, Professor, did you see that coming at all?
I thought that there might be some phone call through via hotline was possible between two leaders of two Koreas, but I think this was a surprising meeting between two leaders. It was reported, and President Moon revealed yesterday that it was first approached by the Kim Jong-un, Chairman Kim Jong-un, to have a meeting. I think there are two reasons why President Moon accepted the meeting right away. First one is that President Moon needs to check what's the perception of North Korea on the current status. But to check what and how North Korea is thinking of current situation can be known through the phone call via hotline. I thought that is why I think the second reason is more important. I think President Moon wants to boost the political impact of the meeting. Because now North Korea has a weakened negotiating position against United States. So I think that North Korea also wants to boost its negotiating position. And also after the Korea-U.S. summit, the United States unilaterally canceled the meeting without notifying South Korea first. So I think South Korea needs to tell that United States that South Korea is an important element of preparing for the North and the U.S. summit in June. So I think that the political image carried by the second meeting between President Moon and the Chairman Kim is going to carry that political importance to the United States.
Yes, I think it's quite a statement by President Moon as well. So right now, earlier today, a U.S. delegation was in Panmunjom as well, meeting with their North Korean counterparts to discuss the details of the U.S. summit, it seems. It's quite a significant step up in preparations for the North Korea-U.S. summit. How important are these kind of working level talks, and what do you think they discussed today?
I think two kinds of talks are simultaneously being held now. First one is in Singapore. It was reported that United States dispatched the advance team to Singapore to discuss with the North Koreans there. And that's more about like protocols and logistics of how the meeting is going to be held in Singapore. And I think the more important meeting is what was held in Panmunjom yesterday, which is about agenda, what to discuss at the summit between Trump and Kim. The reason why it's more important is that whether we are going to have a summit on June 12th is dependent upon that what kind of outcome that we are going to have after the series of meeting at the working levels on the agenda of denuclearization of North Korea. So I think that the series of meetings that we are going to observe in Tumultuous and elsewhere, which will discuss the agenda of the summit on June 12th, is more important than the Singapore one.
The denuclearization point seems to be a key one between the discussions between the two sides. Do you think there needs to be higher level talks, for example, with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and a senior North Korean official like Kim Jong-un? There's some rumors that it could be happening soon.
I think it depends how well the working level meetings are going on. There are two possibilities. The first one is that Secretary Pompeo and Mr. Kim can have a meeting to finalize the deal between the U.S. and North Korea. And second possibility is that they have to salvage the summit if the working level meetings didn't go smooth. So I think that there are possibilities of meeting for the high level government officials from both two countries, but we don't know what kind of nature of what kind of nature that high level talks will carry is unknown until that meeting will be held.
Now, Trump, as ever, took to Twitter and said, let me quote here, "I truly believe North Korea has a brilliant potential and will be a great economic and financial nation one day. Kim Jong-un agrees with me on this. It will happen." Now, there are some who think that this continued emphasis on economic prosperity suggests Trump is getting ready to make some sort of economic incentive or economic package for North Korea. What do you think?
So if the denuclearization process is truly going on in North Korea, then the U.S. and the United Nations probably ease the sanctions on against North Korea. So if we got some temporal relief or temporal ease of economic sanctions on North Korea, then South Korea might be able to start with economic cooperation project with North Korea, and Chinese government and Chinese firm can start their own investment. And if we can confirm the denuclearization direction of North Korea, then maybe World Bank, IMF, or Asian Development, in which that all U.S. government has heavy influence, they can lend the money to lend for North Korea to develop their own economy and the infrastructure. So I think that even without getting money from the U.S. government, denuclearization process can lead to the ease of sanctions, and which also can lead to the economic investment from South Korea, China, and also the money laundering from the international banks.
But Pyongyang seems to be objecting to this publicly, at least anyway. For example, North Korean state media issued a statement on Sunday attacking U.S. media and officials for promoting stories about U.S. promising economic incentives. Now, although it was aimed at the U.S. media, it was also aimed at the U.S. officials. A few days ago, Trump seemed to cancel the U.S. summit over comments made about the Vice President, Mike Pence. North Korea's reaction to economic aid, doesn't this risk annoying Trump again and risk the summit?
I think that the rhetorics and the level of the word used in the announcement is much milder than before. And the reason why North Korea has to rebut this kind of statement from the United States is that any decisions about the denuclearization of North Korea should look like that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made a grandiose political decision. They have to make it look like that it's Kim Jong-un's decision, not by pressure from the international community, or for the economic benefits that international community can provide. So so that is why North Korean media and the North Korean government officials have to rebut this kind of remarks or statement from the United States, because they need to emphasize that it's Kim Jong-un's decision to make a peaceful world through the denuclearization of North Korea.
President Moon Jae-in revealed after his summit with Kim Jong-un that one of the primary concerns that Pyongyang had was the U.S.'s guaranteeing North Korea's security after denuclearization. What assurances can Trump actually give, though, on that front?
It is very complicated, and North Korea has never really mentioned what they really need about security assurance. So former Secretary of State Tillerson mentioned that United States not pursuing regime change, regime collapse, or unification. And even before, in 2005, a September 19th agreement said that U.S. is not going to attack either with traditional conventional weapons or nuclear weapons against North Korea. So United States has reiterated that they don't have any intention to attack North Korea. So now we are talking about this abstract concept of security assurance or regime survival. So we have to, the North and the United States has to discuss what kind of concrete policy or concrete institutions or concrete law that provide security assurance to North Korea. So I think that that's going to be a very tricky element of the negotiation between two governments.
Now, after this weekend's events, the possibility of a trilateral summit between South Korea, North Korea, and the U.S. has come up. And the topic of such a meeting would likely be agreeing on the official declaration of the end of the war. Now, do you think this kind of trilateral meeting could happen?
The reason why President Moon Jae-in mentioned yesterday's announcement was that he positively viewed the outcome of the summit between Trump and Kim. So I think that taking advantage of that opportunity, that our government is going to announce the declaration of end of war with North Korea and the United States if the summit goes well on June 12th. So maybe we have to think whether China wants to join or not, because Chinese government, China has strong influence on Korean Peninsula and the geopolitics of Northeast Asia. So to prevent China playing a role as a spoiler, we might need to accommodate some of Chinese demand. So I think that the declaration of end of war is more like a political manifestation rather than legally binding agreement among the governments. So I think that we are going to discuss the possibility of China joining the statement. So we have to see.
Well, thank you for your insights, Professor. That's all we have time for today. But, thank you for coming in today, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.